Hello, it's James McNamara with you. Thanks for joining in. In this recording, I wanted to talk to you briefly about the selling power of words. Later on, I'll go into 5 great places where top-notch writing can explode your lead generation and your sales results. You know, we communicate a lot in writing in business. We're doing it every day via email. Some of us are still putting the odd letter in the post. We're making social media posts and blog posts, and of course we're sending sales offers or sales proposals to our clients on a regular basis and prospects, and we're doing that in writing. I tend to find though that the use of the written word, really good influential writing, is often overlooked in business. We tend to spend a lot of time on working out how we're going to do our face-to-face communications and how to improve those, but so often when it comes to consolidating our communication in writing, as many prospects and customers will ask us to do, we can often let ourselves down. I first started this journey in looking at the power of selling words back in 1997. I always knew that it was important for your marketing copy to sound good, but I had no idea about the certain word structures that can be used to bring greater sales results. Just on that note, I want to quickly show you now some of the results that I got for one of my clients here. This is Greg. I do a reasonable amount of writing for Greg in his emails, and I've helped him with a whole range of authority pieces of information such as ebooks and special reports. But recently Greg wrote this about what we did. The last email that James wrote for me resulted in $247,000 worth of new opportunities into my sales pipeline. Wow. So that all came from quite a simple email. We sat down and talked about what's the key pain points for the particular target audience, and we wrote a really killer headline and a little grab of information. And the whole idea there was to get them off that email and take them to Greg's blog, where he had a whole raft of authority information. And from that basis, he had people downloading his ebooks and calling him, and the numbers on the screen there as to what he got in terms of his results. So look, I've been at that for a while. It's about 17 years since I first began to study the secrets of influential writing and began to look right into this concept of direct response marketing. And that's a great sounding term, isn't it? You know, direct response. We're wanting our prospects and customers to respond directly to us when they're in a state that's ready to buy. Look, what I've done here is just to outline 5 places that you can explode your results. These are very super simple and practical areas where improving the way in which you write can really make a big difference. The first one is in your emails. We've just discussed that example there of what we achieved with Greg. If you've got a contact list there, then let's think about what we're doing with the emails. So often emails are boring and very sender-centric. What we've got to do is to turn the tables on that and beginning to talk with our clients and our contacts about information that's very useful to them. What are the pain points that they've got, and what expert information have you got to help them understand that better and to gain some solutions? And if you communicate in that way, you actually become very attractive to your target audience because they see you as the trusted professional who can help them to solve those problems. The next one is a bio. The amount of people that I talk to who have very flaccid sounding bios that they use in a whole range of different places on their website About Us page and on their social media biographies that are there and in sales proposals, and there's lots of places where we need to use a bio. I think the key with a bio is not to be ostentatious about it and to blow the sunshine in your own direction. You obviously need to build your credibility, but you do that through talking about how you can or your success in solving the client's problems. So let me just give you a little example of that. For example, if I said in my bio, James has 17 years experience in writing sales copy, well, people will think, well, who cares? It's a bit blowy, isn't it, and very centred on the writer. Whereas I could say that in a different way. I could say James has been helping business owners to generate quality prospects and convert A-grade customers for the last 17 years. So I'm still building myself up a little bit, but I'm talking directly about the pain points that I know my target audience suffers from. The next one is, and perhaps the most important of all, is your sales proposals. We do a lot of work, don't we, to generate a qualified prospect, to go through the sales process with them and to try and bring them on as a customer. Inevitably, though, if we're doing well in a sales process, the client will ask for something in writing. They'll ask typically for us to give them a quote. I really strongly encourage you not to be doing anything like a quote, because the way a quote is formatted is it focuses the attention of the buyer 100% on the price. Whereas there are many other reasons other than price why a prospect will buy your product or service. A sales proposal gives us the chance to showcase those. And of course, if you've done your sales meeting really well, you will know the full range of reasons and the full extent of emotions as to why the customer or prospect wants to buy, and you use a sales proposal to be able to highlight that. It takes a fair while. It took me many years to get to the stage where I had a formula of a winning proposal that works. But once you've got that system in place and you've got the concepts in your head to churn out really great, well-worded and personalised sales proposals, doesn't take a lot of time at all. The next thing is an ebook, or what I like to call for the small business, a special report. You see, a special report allows you to get away with only 2 or 3 pages of text, whereas an ebook people are often expecting a lot more. But the reason why this is important is because the prospects are pushing us out of the front end of the sales process. They're preferring to do their own research in the initial stages so that they can become somewhat more informed about the decision they're about to make. They want to know things like, what's the best way to look at this problem? What are the types of options available? How do you go about making an effective decision in this area? So they want all of that information, but they don't want to front up to a salesperson early in the piece. The trouble for you, though, is if you don't get in there on their research, if you don't feature in their research, you may never get to the sales table with them. On the flip side of that, the problem for the prospect is that they want the information that you have. You're the one who has the product expertise, who knows the key things to consider when making this sort of decision, can help them with comparing and contrasting options. So all of that knowledge that you've built up in your head over the years is exactly what they want. So instead of delivering that in a face-to-face environment initially, we need to package it differently and make it available through things such as our expert writing on our blogs, our special reports, and our ebooks. And I'll show you in a moment another quote from Greg, and I've helped him do a whole range of special reports and ebooks in his business, and he's used them to build his credibility tremendously well. The final area is letters. Just because we email and we live in the electronic world so much nowadays, don't underestimate the power of a letter in the mail, particularly a thank you letter. A really heartfelt, well-worded thank you letter to your key customers can be worth thousands upon thousands of dollars in loyalty over the coming years, and there's no better way to receive that than as a personalised letter in the mail. Equally, sales letters or letters of introduction followed up by a phone call work if you position yourself well. Unfortunately, a lot of people, when they do a letter of introduction to someone they don't know, so they do prospecting letters, they write the letter a bit like a resume, and it reads a bit like some sort of passive chest beating. The customer doesn't, or the prospect doesn't really care about that. The concept of a really well-worded letter of introduction that's going to support you in getting a sales meeting with that prospect is you need to be talking with authority about how to solve the particular problems that you know that prospect is likely to have. And also, the sales letter has, in that context, it has a purpose, and the purpose is simply to get you the meeting. It's not to get them to change their lines of supply just yet. You'll do that through a more formal sales process and ultimately sales proposal. So don't underestimate how well you can use letters such as thank you letters, letters of introductions and sales letters to get you through the doors. And if you think about what the lifetime value of a customer is worth to your business, the extra effort that's required to put together a well-worded letter and get it out in the snail mail can be well and truly worth it. Because as we know, it's just so easy to hit delete on an email and the message just never ever gets through. Okay, here's a couple of testimonials in relation to that, just so you can see the sort of impact that this approach to influential writing has on some living, breathing businesses. So the first one on the left-hand side there, James McNamara has a rare and unique ability to communicate complex ideas with ease. I've seen evidence of the sales letters, email campaigns and ebooks he's prepared for his clients. They are all clear, to the point and effective. James helped me rewrite my website and it reads so much better. James also wrote my bio, and when I read it I was so impressed I wanted to hire myself. So that's a bit of tongue-in-cheek there from Will, but one of the key things with this writing is we need to make sure we make it simple. It's got to be simple but powerful. It can't be simple and non-influential. But quite often as experts in our field we can overcomplicate things for the prospect, because remember, the prospect is not an expert in our field, and many of the concepts and even phrases or jargon that we can use as an industry expert can just go straight over their heads. So we need to simplify it so that we're hitting the pain points for the prospect and showing them that we are a credible source of solving that. On the right hand side there, one from Greg again, James has helped me to position my credibility and expertise in a very authentic way through special reports and ebooks. Thanks to James, I now have 9 of these on a range of topics that my target audience is very interested in. These are all gold during the client acquisition phase, as they provide a level of authority and credibility that no glossy brochure will ever achieve. Let me tell you a story about that one with Greg. I gave him a referral into one of my clients, and he's into phone technology. All sorts of stuff that I don't really understand, but my prospect was equally confused. She'd had a lot of wham bam thank you ma'am style salespeople coming in, the old strategy of press hard, there's 3 copies, really trying just to get the signature on the dotted line. Greg could tell that this lady was quite confused, and she was a little stressed by that because she was about to make a fairly big purchasing decision and people weren't helping her make a fully informed decision that she was comfortable with. So at the end of that meeting, Greg said to her, look, let's just not go too much further now. I'll give you a couple of reports that I've written there, because the areas you're confused about are common. Because we don't buy phone systems every other day. We buy one about every 5 or 7 years. So can't expect to be up to speed with them. He left that lady with 3 of his special reports. And that was on a Friday. On the Monday, this lady emailed him and said, thanks, Greg, for those special reports. I've read them all twice. I now know what I need to do and how to move forward. When can you meet me this week and talk about next steps? So Greg originally went in there on a lead for a video conferencing system. He picked that up. He also picked up the full phone system, and he picked up the fleet of mobiles. All because he was able to position himself as a credible authority in the field through a special report. And look, that wasn't anything, that the content was brilliant, there's no doubt about that, but it was a laser printed Word document bound with a comb bind down the side. But it really matched what the prospect was after, because they wanted information. They were beyond the point of glossies. They wanted real, meaningful and useful information to help them make their decision. And when Greg positioned himself as that, in that way, he was so head and shoulders above the competition that they just could not compete. And so he didn't have to price discount or anything like that. He just gave them a very good deal and won the business. Oh, so look, there's a bonus tip here as well, and perhaps this is the most important thing of all. Use compelling headlines. If you wanted to get a quick boost to your marketing, do what I call a marketing makeover and go back over every piece of your communication where you're trying to engage with prospects and customers and think about what's a compelling headline to draw people in. You see, the success of any direct marketing piece comes down to the headline, and dramatically so. Experts say that 70% of the success of any direct marketing piece is based on the headline. So all of my clients, when they work with me, get a copy of one of my special reports, which is 42 killer headline formulas to boost your marketing results with no additional cost. And harking back to where I started this, there are proven word structures or word formulas that create better results in terms of marketing than others. And when it comes to headlines, I've put together a bunch of about 42 of them with examples. And that's a very, very good way to give yourself a no-cost marketing makeover. So let's think quickly about some of the ways in which I can help you. If you've got a customer base or a database that you want to start communicating with, I'd suggest a themed 5-part email series that talks about the key problems that you're able to solve and how you can remove the pain that your prospect is facing within the context of your product or service. If you've got good connections on social media, then a series of social media posts to draw people back to your blog where they can absorb more information from you, opt into a autoresponder email list, or be encouraged to take to make contact with you or to watch videos like you're doing now. There's a range of ways in which to do that. If you are regularly meeting new people, if you're networking, or if you are speaking at anything, then a bio and a special report is really worth its weight in gold to establish you as a thought leader in the field, as a trusted advisor to your prospects. If you do, again, just on speaking engagements, if you do have speaking engagements and you'd like to be able to convert from stage, either selling a product or booking appointments from that presentation. So if you're presenting at your local networking event or your industry breakfast or chamber of commerce or something like that, and instead of just standing up in front of 60 or 70 people and having a clap at the end, you'd like to get some qualified appointments in your diary, I can talk to you about the processes in doing that, and particularly how to design a killer 30-minute presentation, and then all of the little bits and pieces around that ensure you're going to get some bookings as a result. If you are getting to sales meetings but you're not getting any further, and that can be a problem, you can go on sometimes a lot of sales meetings but they don't turn into action, then I can guide you through what I call my ideas process for understanding exactly why the client will buy and how you can appeal to those emotional hot buttons and do a much better job of converting those sales. Here's another quote from a person that we've helped with their influential marketing. My weekly net income increased by 100% in 120 days thanks to James McNamara and the Impact Factory, and I did it without spending any more money on advertising. What's more, he knew nothing about my industry prior to working with me. So Mr. Cook there was in the technology game, had a computer sales and repair business, and we were able to do some very practical and simple things to help him turn his results around. So I hope that I've got you thinking in terms of some really simple things that you can do to power up your marketing by focusing on the selling power of words and how you can use those in your emails, in your bios, in your authority material, in your sales proposals, and in the letters that you send to people. If you need a hand with that, then give me a call on the number there or send me an email, and I'd love to sit down and talk with you about how we could help you do that. Also, I'd love to see your comments at the end of this post. I started a discussion about this on social media, so I'd love to see the thoughts and ideas and concepts that people have in their own minds, you know, the success stories or key troubles that you're having at the moment, and we'll just get a bit of a discussion going around this topic because it simply is one of the most quickest and cost-effective ways to power up your marketing. Okay, bye for now, and I'll see you on the next post. Ciao.